is just, oh geez, I mean, it's literally just falling apart. All right, I'm Ryan with Appleton Lawn, Snow, and Landscaping, and we're here in Greenville at Denno Associates looking at this massive retaining wall here. I believe it's about 130 some odd feet long. There's a couple big issues with this wall. Obviously, it needs to be replaced. And this video is kind of just to show how poor of shape this wall is and the problems that can come along with a failing retaining wall. A lot of the times when a retaining wall fails, with the smaller wall, it may just be something like some dirt on top that falls and you got to fix it or messes up some landscaping. But this one is bigger. So I'll show you up here a couple big problems with this wall. You can see the cracks forming here, and you can see it runs all the way down about the same distance from the curbing all the way down the entire wall. And the biggest issue here is that this wall system right here is not only supporting some soil here, it's actually supporting the entire driveway. And what's happening right now, this wall is failing and is leaning forward. And as it's leaning forward, it's pulling the parking lot or the driveway portion of the parking lot with it. And if this whole thing falls, what's gonna happen, all this dirt is gonna landslide this way and the entire driveway is gonna need to be replaced. We'll hop down the front and I'll show you how dangerous this is on top of having this potentially fail and then cause probably another $100,000 in damage to repave all of this. It's a pretty big safety issue because this wall here is 8.5, it's almost 9 feet tall. Being that the wall is failing, if this wall, parts of it, like this right here, this is loose. Actually, there's a lot of these that are loose. I mean, this is 50 pounds probably. If this falls on somebody down here while they're cutting the grass, or I don't know, some kid or anyone walking down here, if you've got a 50-pound piece of concrete that hits you in the head at 9 feet, I mean, that could kill you, I guess. The other issue with this wall and some of the reasons that it's failing are gonna be, so they did install it right with drains, but the problem is the cap has long disappeared, or maybe there was never caps on here. Inside here, these are all clogged. So now all the drainage is clogged. So if the water is going down where it should be going into the pipe and out the front of the wall, it's now staying behind the wall, which is basically every frost season now it's pushing the wall further and further and further. The actual structure of the block has now completely failed. So you can see here, the blocks are literally, I mean, you can pick them apart with your hands. It's absolutely just crumbling. And then you can see here, if you get another close-up of this, it's not just the top blocks. The cracking runs horizontal on many, many of the blocks. Almost all the blocks here have horizontal cracking. So the block, and well, I mean, this is really bad here. You can just tell that the face is just, oh geez. I mean, it's literally just falling apart. But this wall is absolutely in jeopardy of just caving out. I mean, right here you can see it's starting to push out a little bit. All these are cracked horizontally, so these blocks are just going to start to crumbling and push out. And as soon as that happens, it's either A, going to fall on somebody or make a big mess, but then the bigger issue is it's going to, the driveway too is just going to come down. So the reason that we are looking at this wall, we are estimating this to replace it with an outcropping wall for two reasons. One, it's going to look nicer. Two, it's going to last a lot longer in our opinion. And three, we'll hop up here and I'll show you. The driveway is really close to the wall. And when you have block walls, you need GeoGrid behind the wall to help support it. So GeoGrid is basically a mesh material that you sandwich between layers of the block, and then you run it out back into the ground to maintain as one big system to help hold the block. The issue here is there's not a whole lot of distance between the parking lot and the wall. So on the really tall sections here, you need to be running that GeoGrid out 8 or 10 feet back onto or back behind the wall. Right here, you can't do that. The GeoGrid should be running to about where I'm standing, which means if that wall, this wall was replaced with block, this whole section, all of this would have to be tore up and repaved after the wall was built because the geogrid system needs to come back this far. So with stone, we're going to bump the wall out just a hair, but then we don't need geogrid with the block wall. We're going to build it with, because we're using 1,000, 2,000 pound stones. So we're not going to need that geogrid. We're still going to have all the proper drainage. So we're going to have the clear gravel behind it. We're going to have the drains running through the back. The whole drainage system is going to be wrapped in fabric to stop soil penetration. We're going to make sure that we have caps on all the drains that go out. So that way critters and dirt and debris can't go inside. Another thing you can tell here too is how far this has dropped too. So you can see that there is almost a 2-inch, about 1.75 inch difference in a lot of the spots between the parking lot and the curbing here. Just another sign that, and all the cracking you can see right here too. This is getting really bad here. So you can see how much this is cracked and dropped right here. So this whole section is in pretty dire straits of complete failure. I mean, it could very likely happen this season. I know we had looked at this last year, and a lot of the cracks that you see running over here, these aren't so bad. These are, you know, maybe an 1/8 of an inch in between the cracks. And a lot of this was like that last year, but a lot of these since last year now have opened up to almost a 1/2 inch. Cripes, this gap here is an entire inch. So these sections are really in jeopardy of failing. This is just kind of a video just explaining this particular wall, what the issues are. That wall right there on the face is not as important as it's just kind of supporting the landscaping bed. If that falls, it has to be rebuilt, obviously, because the building is right there, but it's not as in dire jeopardy, because if this fails, I mean, it could feasibly severely injure or kill somebody if they're below it. And if somebody is driving up here, their car could very possibly end up in the marsh here. So hopefully that explains a little bit of why this particular wall is failing. If you are in need of a replacement retaining wall or a brand new retaining wall, we are the Fox Valley's experts in outcropping walls. Give us a call. We'd be happy to help. My name is Ryan. I'm the owner of Appleton Lawn, Snow, and Landscaping.